everybody, J.M. Manion here at the NPC Photo Gym. Now, I am here with Fitness Pro.
Darrian Borello.
Or as the presidents called her, Miss Pittsburgh.
Miss Pittsburgh.
Right. Now, this was originally supposed to be her road to the Arnold, which it still is.
Yes.
But now, it's also her road to the Olympia.
Yes.
This year's Olympia.
Yes.
When you did this, you were just like, we'll see what happens, right?
I had been manifesting this to happen. I was wishing for it and I'm working for it. So,
Yes.
yeah.
That's great. I mean, because now she wins the Arizona Pro, qualifies for the Olympia. Now you're going back to back Arnold the Olympia. How's it feel?
Overwhelming. I mean, there's a lot of athletes that are kind of going through the same thing. It is the two biggest shows you can imagine, 2 weeks back to back. So it's not so much pressure. It's a lot of excitement. It's a lot of, there's a lot to do. There's a lot of details. And it's kind of like a whirlwind, but a really fun whirlwind.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was the Arizona Pro always in your plans, or is that something that just came up more recently?
It was not always in my plans. I got invited to the Arnold, which was huge. It was a very selective year this year, and I was not qualified for the 2021 Olympia, and I didn't really have plans earlier in the year to compete in a show. But when I realized Arizona could still qualify me for 2021, and I realized I'd be 2 weeks out from the Arnold, it's like, you might be kicking yourself if you're sitting at home ready for a show and you just didn't even try. So
Right.
Probably at about 8 weeks before Arizona is when I really decided that that was going to be the goal, and I was going to try to make the 2021 Olympia.
And it worked.
Yes, it did. Worked out well.
Yeah. I know that we were on Debbie's extended birthday weekend, right? So the thing is, you never get away from social media. It doesn't matter where you are,
No.
right? So I'm like everybody else. I'm looking first for the scores.
Yes.
Okay. Can't find the scores yet because they hadn't. Then Debbie and I see your post.
Yes.
So we were very happy when we saw that.
Yes, thank you.
Texted you saying, now we'll be doing a double.
Yes,
Road
double
to.
video.
That's it.
Yeah, knock them out 2 in 1.
Yeah. So it was because we're trying to figure out who won everything. So which is interesting because I have Andrea Shaw 2 days from now also.
Yeah.
And her winning that back to back and also
Right.
being the current Olympia champion.
Yes, those are big shoes.
Yes. I asked her if she was going to drive her vet here.
The brand new one.
Yeah. Hey, why don't the fitness get that?
Why don't all the divisions get that?
Yeah.
Where's
Yeah.
our vet? I'd settle for the Wrangler, something.
All right. So Darrian, how many Olympias is this for you now?
This is my 4th Olympia. 4 in a row.
That's good.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
So how is your mindset now going back to back? Because it had to change. Because obviously whatever happened in Phoenix was going to determine. But now that you have, like you said, you have these 2 contests back to back. And they're not just like little contests.
They're not little contests. I'm going to rewind, and after 2020 was kind of a difficult year for me. I was struggling, kind of felt like I was swimming uphill the whole year. And finally, I just kept not feeling like myself, really taking a look at myself. I'm a huge advocate for mental health, and so I really started looking at my own, started working with therapists, and I actually found out that I was diagnosed bipolar. So I spent the first half of this year taking care of myself and figuring out, what meds you should be on, how you handle kind of this newfound information, and that was why I hadn't competed yet, because I didn't have a handle on any of that. So the fact that with basically the help of different doctors and like my husband was the biggest help in all of this, I was able to, in essence, get myself together. The 2021 Olympia became a possibility.
Right.
Because for a while it just wasn't, and that's okay, right? It's okay to take time for yourself, figure out what's going on with yourself. But so now that it is, I feel like these doors have opened and something's been lifted, and I get the opportunity to compete in 2 of the biggest shows in the entire world 2 weeks apart.
And this will probably never happen again if they were like this
Right.
back to back.
Right, yeah, it's a once in a lifetime thing.
Right.
And it's amazing to be a part of.
Yeah.
And not all the divisions even get to be a part of it, so that makes it even more special.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For sure.
All right. Well, that's. I mean, I know there's a mean, we see, stuff all over about mental health and everything.
Yeah.
And, and it's not surprising in this industry.
No, it's not surprising anywhere. And
I should say, and not even just for this industry, but especially when you're a competitive athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you've always been competitive.
Right.
Going back from when you were young,
Yes.
with everything else, with cheer, everything else.
Yes.
So, you've always had that in you.
Absolutely.
But
yeah, so I think mental health is big. People talk a lot about how important it is, but people don't come out and talk about their own because it's still a little like taboo. So. Which
is crazy.
Right. With how much it's talked about.
Wrong word. That's. But I'm just saying, it's the fact that you can't talk about it. I don't know why.
Right. No, neither do I. So basically, when I've gotten opportunities, I want to talk to people about it because I think it's something that's so prevalent and people know it's prevalent, but people are scared to really get a handle on their own. And whether it's because they don't want to put a label on themselves or this or that.
There's still a stigma.
Yes,
and
there is.
Unfortunately, in 2021.
Right, there is. There's still a stigma, but all of it's workable. Mental health is important, but there's always ways through it. Even the days where it feels dark or if you feel lonely, you feel like lost and trapped. There's so much out there to help you. I just think a lot of people have to take that next step of either getting the help or coming to terms with what's going on with themselves so they can better themselves.
Right.
Which was what had to happen to me. I had to take a really hard look at what was going on and realize that I couldn't handle it on my own. And then once I did that, accepted help, accepted what was going on with me, I finally feel like I'm back to my old self. I feel like I'm bringing the best version of me again, but that took some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, great. So now, coming into these two events, are you basically going to use the same routine in both, or are you going to see what happens with Columbus and maybe make some tweaks for the Olympia?
So I made a couple tweaks even from Arizona because I got a little bit of feedback, just make them a little bit more competitive. We have some of the most magnificent routines you're going to see on these Arnold and Olympia stages from magnificent competitors. So the Arnold, I think, will be a really good opportunity to see where it falls against those top routines and then maybe go from there.
Right.
I doubt you will see a whole new routine in 2 weeks, unless if you tell me my routine sucks, you might see a whole new routine in 2 weeks. I don't know. But probably just make tweaks, and it kind of is hard to make tweaks that close.
Right.
Because repetition is so big, and even making tweaks from Arizona to now, I've done that routine exactly the same for so many months, and all of a sudden yesterday, I changed it up a little bit. So, that takes a lot of mental work.
Right.
So, yeah.
Now, you're going to have a few Olympia champions.
Yes.
In these contests.
Yes, we do. We have Whitney Jones, we have Missy Truscott, we have Oksana Grishina. So, 3 of the most badass
chicks. So 3 of the 10 in Columbus.
Yes, 3 of the 10 in Columbus. And then I think, all 3 are Arnold champs as well. So there's a lot of champion-esque that's going to be on that stage, okay? So it's a privilege to be on stage with them, but it's also an opportunity, right, to show that you can compete with them. And
motivation, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, they may be current and former Olympia champions, but they're also beatable.
Right.
Everybody's beatable on any given day.
And
the old cliche.
At one point, they weren't champions, right? So everyone has to become a champion at some point.
Yeah.
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 There we go.
All right. So is there anything else that you've done differently in this time to get ready?
I did. This is the first year I actually brought in 2 choreographers.
Okay.
I brought in, their names were Adrian Bynum and Hunter Murphy, and they pushed me out of my comfort zone in terms of learning new skills. I think sometimes if you watch the Fitness Girls from year to year, we get comfortable in what skills we're good at, and we get comfortable doing certain moves. They kind of took me.
If you really pay attention to the pro fitness side,
Yes.
you kind of know that some of the, when you see somebody do something, you're like,
Right.
oh yeah, of course, because
That's their move.
they always do that or another one.
Exactly.
You kind of know it's going to be somewhere in that routine.
Right. So they kind of took my bag of tricks and shook it up and spun it around and gave me a new bag of tricks. And so that was crazy. It was really different. It was really challenging. It's not exactly my comfort zone still, which is good because, I needed to find growth somewhere for
Right.
the routine round. So that was big for me, bringing in them to choreograph my routine.
Well, good,
Sure, yeah.
good. And is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
As always, my husband gets the #1 shout out because none of this would have been possible without him, but especially this year. Dealing with someone with mental health is just as hard on the loved ones, and he really stepped up, and I would say he is the absolute reason that I made it to the stage this year. That's for sure.
All right,
Yeah.
okay, good. All right, so J.M. Manion,
Darrian Borello.
we're going to see her in Columbus, then we're going to see her in Orlando, and possibly taking 2 titles,
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
right?
always a possibility.
If you're not going to win, why are you going, right?
Showing up.
Exactly. All right, signing out for NPCNewsOnline.com. We will see you there.